Good night again, and thanks for tuning in to another exciting episode of Sports In. I'm your host, and I will be keeping you company throughout the rest of the show tonight. All right, we had quite a good number of sporting activities over the weekend, with the PNG Hunters registering a big win on home soil against Tweedhead Seagulls, winning 24-18 last week at the National Football Stadium. Well, this match was said to be one of the Hunters' best performances this season. Hunters coach Stanley Tappen was delighted with some teams' response after a recent run of narrow losses. Tappen said it was a strong team performance, but was happy to pay tribute to some individual efforts. The boys will take a lot of confidence out of this one and will carry that same spirit as they take on Clydesdales this weekend at the NFS. We also have the inaugural OFC Women's Club Championship that is currently underway at the Seyubit Mari Stadium. Our very own Ekari United women's team have bounced back from their previous loss to AS Academy of New Caledonia and now defeating Samos Kiwi FC in a massive 9-0 victory. If you missed out on this game, here are some of the highlights of the match.
Well, Hekari United are hoping to pull one back after that opening day fixture loss to AS Academy Feminine, while for Kiwi FC, well, they're coming off the back of a 6-0 loss.
Despite the rain, blue wall.
The blue wall might appear to be broken as Michael Mbutubu. She's got Kaipu in the center. Padio comes, shoot! Ramona Padio! Stadium, Ramona Padio. Again, that early run by. Well, it's a decent ball in!
And it's a second goal there registered for Hekari United FC.
Padio. Beautiful split ball for Marie Kaipu to make it through! Marie Kaipu, well, she'd been lurking for... assisting in midfield, but they've lost possession. Kaipu, here's the substitute. Elipa slides it in! And another goal for Hekari United, this time through the substitute. Laeli. Marie Kaipu is in space. She's got time, only her and the keeper to beat. Marie Kaipu! Butubu. Well, Horton skimmed it. Took a deflection. Kaipu lays it off and it slips now. And I think it's Elipes. Again, Kaipu darting to that near post, possibly to create space behind her. Does so. Another header, a double header instead. Hekari make it 7-0. Really overshot the runway. You can just see, well, it's another beautiful pass for Kaipu, who finds her hat-trick. Marie Kaipu for Hekari United. We'd seen this coming.
There goes Hekari on attack again. There goes Kaipu. And another goal. That is for Hekari. The final whistle, it is 9-0. 9-0 in favor of Hekari.
And that was the highlight of the game between Hekari United and Kiwi FC. Hekari captain Marie Kaipu scored 5 goals, while Ramona Padio, Shalom Wider, Nani Elipas and Mavis Singara added the extras. All right, before we get things further rolling, let's take a look at the weekend scoreline. We'll start with NRL round 14 results. Canberra Raiders 20 points beat West Tigers 19. The Warriors 30 beat Dolphins on 8 points. Rabbitohs 46 defeated the Titans on 28 points. Broncos 20 defeated Sharks on 12. Roosters 25 coming up against Bulldog victorious, beating them 25-24. Cowboys there 20 Cowboys 45 defeating the Melbourne Storms on 20, and the Penrith Panthers 26 bulldozing the Dragons on 18 points. To the host plus Cup round 12 results, the PNG Hunters 34 defeated the Tweed Head Seagulls 18, Magpies 38 defeating the Bears on 22 points, Wynnum Manly Seagulls 38 points defeating the Blackhawks 12, Dolphins 44 giving a massive scoreline against Clydesdales 44 points to 12. The Cutters 16 beating Falcons on 10 points. Northern Pride there with 30 points defeating the Jets on 18, and East Tigers wrapping up round 12 with 20 points defeating Cappers on 18. The Super Rugby round 15 results, the Blues 16 defeating the Highlanders on 9, Brumbies 33 causing the upset of the round beating Rebels on 17, the Fijian Drewers walking over the Reds 41-17, Hurricanes 27 beating the Crusaders on 26, and the Mohana Pacifica causing a massive upset against Waratahs, beating them 33 points to 24, and Chiefs 43 beating the Force on 19 points. Tupom RFL Men's A-grade round 8 results, Butterflies 14 defeated the Coney Tigers 10 points, Hohola Flies 14 defeating the Royals on 8, West Gulf or Gulf West 8 points defeating Magani on 0, the Coney Storms 12 beating the Defence on 10 points, Hanobada Ox with a field goal win beating Tarangao 11 points to 10, and Dobo Warriors 8 points defeating Paga Panthers on 6. To the Port Moresby Softball Association in Game 1, saw Bears coming from behind to defeat Kilala Cats on 4-3. Gazelle capped Saints scoreless with a 11-0 drubbing. Power bounced back from their 7-6 loss last week to Defence hammering Aviat Jets on 10 points to 0. Brothers held Stingers 1-0 in the Battle of the Pitches. Gazelle continued their onslaught housing against Bears 13-5, and Defence put on a masterclass performance in batting and fielding up, staging A's 7 points to 1. And that was the weekend scoreline for what took place over the weekend. All right, we'll take a short break now, and we will return with more here on Sports Scene. Welcome back to Sports Scene. Joining me on set for this segment is President of Touch Federation of Papua New Guinea, Kevin Luana. Mr. Luana is here to give an update on the National Touch Camp held in Port Moresby last week. But before that, thank you, Mr. Luana, for joining us and making time to come on set tonight.
Thank you, David, and thank you, EMTV, for having me on your show. Thank you.
All right, we'll go straight into our first question. There was a national championship, as alluded to in our previous comment. Just give us an update on how that national camp went about.
Thank you, David. The camp was planned for the 1st to the 4th of June, 2023. We had athletes from a number of associations, a number of affiliates around the country, especially in Ley, Finschhafen, down in Popondetta. It was a team of about 42 athletes from out centers, and joined the Port Moresby-based selected players. We had a long list of selected players who all came together, so there was a total of 92 selected athletes who joined our camp here in Port Moresby at the Sir John Guise Stadium from the 1st to the 4th.
All right, speaking of that selection of a wider squad that you brought here to the training camp, have the selection panel put together a team already as yet?
Yes, the long list of selected players was the first stage of our selections.
All right.
So the camp was to bring the selected players into Port Moresby to run them through testing and screening with the high performance, and then get them to during the camp run them through the paces to for the assessors, the selectors, to look through and see the strengths and weaknesses of the players and have selections. So they have gone through in the last couple of days after the camp. When the camp was concluded on Sunday, the 4th of June, the selectors got together and went through the ratings of each player and came up with a team of 20 men and 20 women. So that's a list that will be further cut down over the next couple of months to have the final squad for the Pacific Games.
Okay. Just about these selections again, are we expecting other players from outside of Papua New Guinea? Is there any overseas-based players part of the team?
We were very fortunate to have the Brisbane Pies, who are affiliates of the Dutch Federation, Papua New Guinea. They participated in a tournament some years back, and we were happy to have them come to Papua New Guinea to participate. But there was only one player in that squad who was eligible and was included in the long list. So she also joined us in the camp.
Okay,
yes.
okay. So most of them were not considered for selection due to
yes.
What's the reason?
The player who was considered under the criteria was eligible, but all the others were not eligible for selection in the PNG squad.
All right. Thank you for that. With the squad now in place, will there be other tournaments that they will be attending, just leader tournaments?
Yes, we have a tournament planned for April next year that will be held in Leh. But for the list of selected players, we will be further running camps and putting them through the paces, giving them training plans for them and high performance to get them through to a level where they can participate in the Pacific Games.
What is the Touch PNG's aim going into the Pacific Games?
Yes.
You guys have been dominant in previous years, winning gold. So what are you taking into the games?
Thank you very much for this. Like I mentioned earlier, we were riding on the successes of the 2015. Not only the Pacific Games in 2015, but also the World Cup, where we were rated fourth in the world. I think third in the world. And then in the 2015 Pacific Games, we won gold, open men's gold, and open mixed silver. In 2019, after the World Cup in Malaysia, we went to the Samoa Pacific Games and won gold in both open men and open women. So we are taking that into the 2023 Pacific Games in the Solomons to defend our gold.
Is there any corporate houses or individuals that you would like to thank for making the training camp a successful one?
Thank you very much for that. And I thank Trukai Roots Rice. They came at a time when we really need assistance. When we planned the training camp, we were mindful that we were sort of funding resource. And because when we planned the selections, it was more of inclusive. We wanted to include as many players as we can from outer centers. But to bring them into Port Moresby was a challenge. So thank you to Trukai Roots Rice. They came in at a time to support us in cash and kind. They provided bales of rice. Greatly assisted our players during the time at the camp, feeding them and getting them ready for the tournaments, and even providing their lunch and dinner for the evening. So I thank Trukai Roots Rice. We hope that the partnership will continue. This is the first time, as far as I can remember, that we had a major sponsor in one of our, and in a small way. The training camp is a big plus for us. So I'm encouraging our affiliates and associations, TATS, especially TATS, because we play all the way down to the grassroots level to continue to use the product of Trukai Roots Rice. I also would like to maybe take this time to call out to major sponsors. We look at TATS as a pathway to some of our bigger codes like rugby league and union.
Yeah.
And if they can use stats, and if we can establish a partnership, they can use stats as a pathway into having our young kids, because we play from the youngest age all to the oldest, and at the wider community level. So if we can partner with them, we use that as a pathway for our kids to go into those bigger leagues.
Kevin, thank you for coming on board Sportscene. It was a pleasure having your company, and we wish you all the best going into your future games.
Thank you, David, and thank you for having me on the show. Thank you.
All right. Okay, we'll take a short break now, and we will return with more here on Sportscene. Stay with us. Welcome back, and you're watching Sportscene. Joining me on set tonight is the president of PNG Bodybuilding Federation, Imbak Wiape. It's been a while since you last came on set. What a privilege it is, and thanks for joining me on Sportscene tonight.
Thank you, David. Thank you, EMTV, Sportscene for hosting us, bodybuilding on the show. Thank you, EMTV, and thank you, viewers, for having bodybuilding on the sports show tonight.
All right, Imbak, we'll just start with a few of our questions that we would like to ask you. We understand that there's a bodybuilding national championship coming up. Why don't you just run us through the dates and where the event will exactly take place?
Thank you, David. We're having our national championship this month. It's from the 23rd to the 24th of June this month. We're having it at the National Sir John Guise Indoor Complex. That's on the 23rd to the 24th of this month.
So how many provinces are we expecting to appear at this event?
We're expecting the athletes from different provinces. That include the NCDC, Ley, Moresby Province, Goroka, Simbu, Juaka, Wobek, and others from Kogopo and Buka and Kimbe.
Or just tell us a bit about what's the significance of this event that's taking place.
The significant, David, that's because we're having our South Pacific game coming up, and that championship basically will go for the selection of the team for the South Pacific game. The athletes from around the provinces, they will come and compete to secure the places for the South Pacific game.
So the championship, will it be a man and woman taking part in this championship?
That's right. Bodybuilding, we have some categories. That's from the female category to the male category, and then the recent one is the modeling and the physics category that has been introduced, and it was accepted by the Pacific Game Council. So we'll be having that too. We'll have 4 categories for the females, and then 8 categories for the males. That includes the physics, where male will compete. So actually we have roughly 10 categories for the athletes to participate in.
The championship, after the championship, how many athletes are you looking at selecting to bring them into camp and prepare for the upcoming Pacific Games?
For the upcoming Pacific Game, we're looking at 4 females. That's over 55, over 56, and under 56. That's for the female, and then the modeling and the modeling physics. That's include for the ladies, for the females, and for the males we're looking at the under 65 to over 90 kilograms. That's about 6, 7, 8 divisions or categories. So roughly we're looking at 10 athletes for the bodybuilding team squad.
All right. So just in terms of support, what's the support like to stage this event?
Thank you, David. For in terms of support, we're looking for sponsors. We're looking for sponsors to help us with our upcoming national championship. We only depend on PNG Olympic Committee, who supports the national federation to assist them in funding the competitions and the programs. We only depend on PNG Olympic Committee, PNG OC, but for bodybuilding and other national federations, we also looking at other sponsors, like business houses and corporate sponsors. If they can come in and assist, it will be more good.
All right, just last question. Going into the Pacific Games, what's your take? What do you aim to achieve?
In 2015, we did the country proud. We produced 5 golds, 3 silver, and 2 bronze. That's quite a big achievement for bodybuilding in 2015, and we're looking at going beyond that result. We're trying to probably take 5 or 6 gold for PNG. That's our take. Our bodybuilding and our bodybuilders are preparing. All they need is a good backup and good sponsor to push them through to achieve that dream of producing some good medals for the country.
Mr. Wiape, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight, and it was a pleasure having you.
Thank you, David, host for Sports Scene, and thank you, EMTV, for giving us this opportunity to showcase bodybuilding. We really appreciate. We're having our championship on the 23rd to the 24th of June. Thank you, EMTV, for highlighting bodybuilding. We really appreciate.
We'll take a short break now, but before we do that, we will allow the PNG bodybuilder athletes to come and showcase what they got. Welcome back, and you're watching Sports In. All right, we'll take a look at the weekend previews for what's coming up this weekend. We'll start with NRL Round 15. On Thursday night, the Titans will go up against the Tigers, and Friday night's doubleheader, we'll see the Raiders going up against Warriors and Seagulls taking on Dolphins. On Saturday night's tripleheader, we'll see Dragons going up against Rabbitohs, Broncos taking on the Knights, and Roosters going up against the Panthers. Then on Sunday, the Storms will take on Sharks, and Bulldogs will take on Eels to wrap up Round 15. In the Host Plus Cup Round 13 draws, Tweeded Seagulls will take on the Cappers, Bears taking on North Devils, the PNG Hunters will take on Clydesdales, Falcons going up against Blackhawks, the East Tigers will take on the Dolphins, Cutters taking on the Wynnum Manly Seagulls, and Magpies will go up against the Ipswich Jets. In Super Rugby quarterfinals, Blues will take on Waratahs, Chiefs taking on Reds, Crusaders going up against Fiji and Drua, and the Brumbies taking on Hurricanes. And that was our weekend previews for what's coming up this weekend. We'll be sharing all the content online, so do hit like on our Facebook page and share all the videos as much as you can. Also, if you do have story, tips, or sports event that you would like us to come and cover, do not hesitate to contact us on the following numbers on the screen. Call us on 312-9229, or you can email sportscene@mtv.com, or visit us at Garden City Level 2, Morocco. That's all about it. Unfortunately, this is where I get to say goodbye. But before we do that, here's a talk survey to the wider public of Port Moresby. This is an appeal to the general public. If you're not doing anything over the weekend, please make yourself available at the Seyubit Mari Stadium and support our very own Ekari United Women's Football Club in their inaugural OFC campaign. Let's give them the support they need as they vie for a grand final spot. We wish all the best to Erickson Common and his team. All right. Again, thanks for joining me on the show tonight. It was a pleasure having your company, and we shall do this again, same time, same place, next week, right here on your #1 to watch, EMTV. Till then, it's bye for now.